So first we're gonna install XR plugin management. Go to project setting, XR plugin management, just hit install. And in the Windows version, we go with OpenXR. Just wait for a second. It's gonna ask you some questions and it's gonna take for just 5 minutes to just restart your Unity. When you come back, there is a error here. It's 2 issues. Just press fix and it doesn't work. Just go to edit and you have to add one interaction profile, which we're gonna use Oculus touch controllers. And when you come back, you'll see those exclamation marks. They're gone and everything is good for now. So the second thing we need in the project is the toolkit. So we have to go to Window, Package Manager, right here. Search for toolkit. You need to go in Unity registry, otherwise you're not gonna find it. Toolkit, and hit install. It's gonna take like 2-3 minutes, and when it's done, we need to add samples. Go to samples and import the first one, the starter assets. This one's gonna give us everything that we need for like starting the VR project. Everything's gonna be fine after that, and that's it. When you're done, if you open samples, if you just dig into it, you'll see demo scene, and if you just play the scene, everything should be fine. And I'm gonna hit play. Let's see how does it look like. Here we go. I'm just gonna open the window. Okay. And as you see, you can see your controller. You can teleport. You can interact with UI. Interact with these objects and grab this stuff. Just do crazy things. And there is one feature they added. It's really nice that it's like really smooth grabbing stuff. And also look at this. When you grab, look how smooth is it. This is so cool. Okay, never mind. We're not gonna do anything like related to this. But yeah, if you just do these steps, your VR is ready. Like that much easy, that much fast. In 10 minutes, you have VR project ready. Before it was way longer, but now it's very easy. So let's start by going to sample scene. This sample scene right here is gonna be our jetpack scene. The first I'm just gonna change the name and add a plane right here so we can put our player on top of it. That's simple. And the transform is crazy. I'm just gonna restart it. The directional light is just too bright. I'm just gonna decrease the intensity and that's it. Easy, easy peasy. Okay, we're gonna add the player right here from samples that we got from toolkit. I'm just too lazy. I'm just gonna drag and drop it right here. It's gonna be XR interaction setup. Yes, this one. Just gonna make sure. Go back to starter assets, demo scene, and open it up. And yeah, it's XR interaction setup. So it's that one. So there are 2 ways of adding one prefab into the scene. The first one is just drag and dropping that prefab. So imagine I'm just gonna drag in any prefab, doesn't matter. Just grab anything. And everyone does it. You can drag and drop anything and you're good to go, but I don't like it. I just like another way. I'm just gonna show you. Drag and drop any scene you think the object exists there. And then you drag and drop that object and you remove the other scene. So usually I just found it more convenient for me. I don't know why, but most of the time I'm just gonna drag and drop many prefabs from the other scene. So I usually do that. Anyway, I just want to show you other way of doing stuff, which if you don't like it, I don't care. Okay. So we keep going by creating our own prefab, which is gonna be our Jetpack player. Call it Jetpack player setup and add another empty game object in it. I'm gonna call it input action. You can call it managers. You can call it whatever you want. Add input action manager and then XR interaction manager. There we go. And XR UI input module. Okay, that's it. And here we're gonna add one action which is come from XR toolkit, and the other one is in XR UI input module. Just select the existed one and it's gonna fill it up automatically and you're good to go. And the next thing is just go to starter asset, prefabs, and drag and drop the XR origin in right here. Restart the, just restarted the transform. Just want to make sure it's in the middle of the scene. And here we go. If you unpack it, you'll see there's some stuff here, we don't need them. I'm just gonna delete them all. So we don't need the character controller because we're gonna use the real physics. Delete everything we don't need. We just need these two right here. We don't need this gaze stuff. Just in the locomotion, we need just turn and teleport. We don't need climbing and everything. And here we go. It's everything we need for our player. We need poke, direction, ray, teleport. These are the stuff that we need for now for our player. I'm gonna keep these things. And here we go. And now go to assets. I'm gonna create a folder right here, call it prefabs. These folders just gonna help you just be more organized. Just open it up and create another folder called player. And there we go. Not like that, because if you don't spell it right, it's gonna be like not organized. So spell it right and change the name of the player to XR player to be a bit different than XR sample, prefabs, and Jetpack player setup right here. And this input action, I'm just gonna put it on the top of this. I have to go to the prefab, drag and drop it right here, and yeah, just gonna be more the same structure than toolkit made their stuff. I'm just gonna follow their stuff. There we go. Hit play. Let's see how does it look like. And you see those hands right there too far. They're working well, but there are two cameras in the scene. I have to just delete this camera and hit play again. Now you see everything works well. And if you take a look at this, your right hand works well, but left hand you cannot teleport and rotate. And there is one single button that you have to disable, which is if you open your player, go to left controller, you have to disable this smooth motion enable. You have to disable it. There we go. And now you're good to go. That's the time to create our jetpack. And if you go to the left controller, I'm gonna create another empty game object. I'm gonna call it Jetpack Interactor. And why I changed the name to Jetpack Interactor is because I follow the structure that how they made it. Because the left controller, everything I see in it ends with Interactor. So I finish with Interactor too to just follow the structure. That's it. So that's the time to create another script. And I'm not sure why I said another script because I've never made one in this project, but I made a few today, but that's why I said another. Anyway. I'm just gonna delete these two lines. It just bothers my eyes when I'm coding. I don't like it. Delete this green light and go public input action reference. So I'm just gonna give a reference to the trigger button. So I'm just gonna call it Jetpack input action reference. And the reason I put it public because later on when I created my inputs, I'm just gonna drag and drop it right there and we have our reference very easy. And there is another public float that we need for the force of the power of this jetpack. I'm just going to call it jetpack force. That's it. We need two private variable, which one of them is rigid body. We need the player rigid body because we need to give this force to someone, which is our player. The next one is trigger value, which we are going to multiply it with jetpack force to calculate the actual force. So the trigger value is going to be a number between 0 to 1, which comes from the trigger controller. So when we multiply it with jetpack force, we actually can calculate the actual force that we're going to give to each hand. In our start function, we cache the player's rigid body by using find object type of. This function is just going to go through everything is existed into our scene and find the XR origin. And then we go get component. And here we put our rigid body. So we feed our player's RB with this function. And next I'm just going to delete these three lines right here. They just bother my eyes. There we go. So that's the time to add an action to this input action reference. So we have to go with in unenable. I'm going to just assign, and in undisable, I'm just going to remove that action. There we go. And just before creating that function, just go back to your Unity and wait for precompiling. And then you see on the Jetpack input action, you can choose which action you want from the controller, which you can choose anything from here, example this, and this one comes from toolkit sample, that one, but we don't need this. We are going to create our own. So yeah, we're going to create another one. So remove this for now. I'm just going to be a bit more organized. Just create a folder and drag and drop this script that they've made. I'm just going to call it scripts. Drag your Jetpack and drop it right here. Now that's the time to create our... Okay guys, this video is long enough. The next video we're going to see how we can fly all around. And we're going to have some fun time. Here we go. Oh, sorry. See you in the next video.